Hey everyone, Egman here with another video, and today we have the top 16 breakdown for CoreTCG's San Diego Regional that happened in person this last weekend. It was an event that I was at too, and I was able to be the stream with it with Aandroidd. Super fun. I'm super happy I got that opportunity. So big shout outs to Core for letting us do that and for giving us these lists and for hosting the event. It was just fantastic, and I really couldn't ask for more. If you guys also want to see the re-uploads, they should be on the Stage Zero channel. I'll have a link to that in the description. Also, this document is going to be member exclusive for the first 24 hours of it being out. And then after that, the link will just be where it always is. So if you're looking for the link, it will be back I'll have a timestamp for when it will be uploaded for public. Or also, if you're a member of my YouTube, you get a link to it for the first 24 hours. So we are going to go over one of every leader for this top 16 too. So we will get a good look at these deck lists from the video as well, and just kind of go from there. Looking at these, lists too, this is one of the best, if not the best format we've been at, as long as you don't like playing green leaders. Like who likes doing that, I guess. But we have 9 different leaders in this top 16. Also, if you look at the top 8, we have 7 leaders out of the 8 are unique. So that's just fantastic. It's just more of what we've been seeing these past couple weeks. Especially in March when we had our webcams regionals as well. A lot of leaders doing really well, and I think that's really cool to see. Definitely more of a pilot-centered format where if you are a good pilot and you know what your deck does and you feel very confident in it, you should be able to do a good job. So that is kind of the overview. We're going to look at 9 individual lists through this video too. And we're just going to start off with the first place. It is Jared's first place Aandroidd 16, as if he plays any other decks. Super fantastic. If you don't know, Jared has been playing Aandroidd 16 and winning for a long time. He went into this event already getting his invite from the webcam events in March too. It's been playing it also at Nationals for North America and at Worlds this last year or two, doing fantastic with it and just continuing to do a really good job. I highly recommend, by the way, if you have not seen the finals match with him versus Bryan Samuel, it is a fantastic match. It is probably one of my favorite matches I've ever commentated. It's super duper good. So I highly recommend watching that match if you guys haven't. Looking through this list and something, I don't know. I've gone over this list and he he changes like 1 or 2 cards every once in a while, and nothing too crazy going from this one. You have your Aandroidd 21 choices. We have like the Kusu on the side in case you need it. I don't think he really finds a good reason for it. It's just a solid core. If you're able to find what you need to get, and there's a little bit of RNG with it too, just because you need to find your right Aandroidd 16s, and whatever your Aandroidd 16 top decks into your energy can be really impactful. And of course, you got to find your Hatchaks, right? But it's just a very strong deck. The one card that I saw a lot more of today, specifically, especially in the finals, is this Aandroidd 18. One of the best things about this card is that it does kind of cycle back into your hand. And so what I presumably saw and was I got a lot of resources for Jared was that if your opponent has something like a Poutine and like also like some Trunks stuff on their side of the board for like the yellow, that rest stuff, you can just play this Aandroidd 18. It counts as the trigger for coming into play, and then you bounce it back into hand, and then you can play the card you actually want to play in active mode kind of thing. So, and then you don't actually lose any resources. You lose like 1 blue energy, which is fine because you're a blue deck anyways. I saw this one just being like an MVP against some decks, and which is weird because I haven't seen that card be played a lot. And I think it took a lot of advantage from the current meta, which is super cool. But I don't know. Jared's fantastic. Definitely watch his matches. They are really good. Jared's also really good at he's just knows what this deck does, and he's very good at playing it. I don't know what else to say. Congrats to Jared for taking this event. Next up, we do have Markus Kantarci's Super Saiyan God Son Goku Crimson Warrior. I talked to Markus a little bit, and I think he's going to make a video to it as well. We will be adding video links to these as well. No doubt Markus is going to talk about this deck way better than I will, but I'd say I've seen like this kind of core in a Super Saiyan God reboot list, and it's just the idea of where you play like a bunch of kind of obnoxious cards. You put a lot of value in the Super Saiyan 3 Gogeta as well. I mean, a 20k dual attacker on a Unison is fantastic still, and you just kind of put a lot of pressure. It's kind of like in between like Mil Janemba 2. You have a lot of just 10k combos and everything else. You get the cycle. He has like the Unbreakable Super Saiyan God Son Goku 2 for additional cycle 2. It's a really interesting deck for what it does, and it just, you cycle through your stuff. You get a lot of advantage by for your energy by being very defensive or not giving your opponents stuff to pop on board and stuff. And then from there you just kind of outvalue them. It's a really kind of grindy and interesting deck, but obviously you got second at the event too. The one thing that this has inspired me too is I think this could also, this has worked on Soul Striker Reboot. This is, with Crimson Warrior, which is to a lot of people a lesser Soul Striker. And then I also want to think, I want to try this with the Blue Vegeta starter deck. I think this could be very similar in a lot of the things. And just the fact that the leader can give your Unison double strike on your leader ability, I think can help with the kind of end game and everything else. And like just the fact that you gain advantage if they try to pop your Gogeta, or if you play a Saiyan in rest mode or so, that kind of thing. I think there's a lot of good stuff with that. So I don't know. I'm probably going to test this. Congrats to Markus with this. It was fantastic. There is a match with him on stream with it too. And I don't think anything too much I want to mention in the side. Just I'm not very good at side deck stuff. I'll just be honest with you guys. But also, real quick, this is a really interesting choice. The fact that it keeps restanding, I think, is really helpful. Is really interesting. You will see the match. It's very, very fun. All right, next up we do have Evan Williams, Universe 7 Goku. Universe 7 Goku is still doing strong. It had 3 of the top 16 positions, which is fair. And honestly, I think this is probably one of the gatekeepers for the format, in the sense that this pretty much does the same thing on turn 4, whereas it plays either the Goku or the Vegeta, and it can press for win, it can clear the board, it does a lot of stuff on it. You swing in with the Goku as well. You're able to see your opponent's hand and discard them, or discard a card from it too. All of it's just very good. It's just a lot of value, and it's very good at what it does. And it's really aggressive too. So I would say this is definitely a more pilot-centered kind of build, or just like leader as well. The deck more or less builds itself, right? You usually put like 60 cards. A lot of them are just red good stuff and red Universe 7 stuff. And then it really comes kind of down to the pilot and kind of going from there. So I think that's just kind of what I have to say about this. There are some like choice points, like if you want to run the Aandroidd 17 1-drops, Divine Presence is good. People kind of going back into Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. I know it hasn't been as popular lately, but the ones that topped are doing it well. The other thing, so just choosing the Piccolo Jr. for your Unison, which means you have the Yamchas. The Unisons, a lot of people are choosing like 3s as well. Then they can play the Videl counterattack, which gets kind of more value, but you have to have a 3 red specified cost Unison. So obviously some custom you can customize it, my goodness. And but that is I don't know, red Universe 7 Goku is good. If you want to build a deck that's consistent and you don't have to like build the deck, I'd say this is like one of the best ones to do. All right, next up we do have Bryan Samuels, Trunks Vegeta, and Trunks Vegeta is doing much better at least at this event than it had previously. And this also was a best of 3 70-minute round with the new time rules too, which I think that kind of helps Vegeta Trunks a little bit more too. The fact that it's a grindier matchup. If you need to side into something, you can as well. And I think it probably helps this deck out more than some others. This is, I've said this 100 times, this is definitely like the more modern version of Higher Dragon, since Higher Dragon got a little bit neutered. You just put all your good yellow stuff into this list, you get a whole bunch of value. And this, the way that Bryan Samuel played and built this deck is definitely the idea of you just play a bunch of 1-drops, you just slowly build the board while you make a lot of interactables for yourself. So you have like these Trunks out, you have the Poutines out too. And like I when I play this list, I take out the Poutine because I'm like, oh well, I already have the Trunks out, it doesn't make sense. But this Poutine actually does some more things, and can since it hits on counters and everything else, it does get some additional benefit. I don't know. I think I think Poutine is ready to leave the game. I don't know. That's my spicy opinion halfway through this video, but I don't know. Bryan Stan was fantastic at this game, as you guys should all know already. And being able to pilot this, the Bulma is definitely something that not everyone plays. So you can play a Bulma from your leader as well. This can just be played and get to draw one. Also has an activate main limit one. If your leader is a mono yellow Trunks future card, you discard this card. Look at the top 7 cards for a Trunks or Vegeta yellow with any cost 3 or less and add it to your hand. So just like the cycle with this to help you find your 1-drops and your pieces. And honestly, I find I don't get the EX evolves all the time, and you really want, like, you get so much value from it that this Bulma to help you find those for free essentially is a pretty big deal. Other than that, nothing too out of the ordinary. This Trunks is good, as you guys should know, and yeah, I don't know. It's a good deck. People are playing it for a reason, and I think it's finally kind of gone to a groove where you know what your ratio should look like, you know what the meta looks like, and how to adapt to it, and it can be, again, very, very, very obnoxious. Next up, we do have the Reboot Goku. So we did have one of these in the top. This is looking, I don't know. So blue's kind of like in a weird spot where it has like a lot of good cards and interactions, but it doesn't have like a best of leader. So which is why we have like the BT16 Goku, we have the SS3 Goku, and we have an SS4 Vegeta all topping. And all of them are more or less the same thing, where they're just playing blue decks that have like some obnoxious cards, somewhat of a win condition sometimes, but not all the time kind of thing. I don't know. Majin Buu can just be your win condition a lot of the time too. This Vegeta is fantastic. It's so funny. Like myself and a lot of other people saw this counter and were like, oh, this is a bad card. But when you realize it's just a dual attack that also pops 2 cards and it's a 20k, it's a very good card. Like this gets so much value if you're not afraid of it getting, it doesn't have deflect, so it can get counterplayed. But if you're not afraid of that, it does a lot of things. But yeah, Goku being able to be like one of the few ramp cards in the game is good, especially since we don't have a lot of hand destruction stuff going on right now either. So that's kind of like the bane of this list, because you don't start off with a lot of cards. But once again, being able to untap that 3 every turn is so good. Having the Super Saiyan God Son Goku Miraculous Transformation as in this deck is good too, especially since it's so easy to play. You're getting that counterattack to get the attack played in rest mode. And yeah, it's just a good card when that's in play. I don't think I have anything else to say about this list. I don't know. This is obnoxious. I remember people started playing this again with Galactic Buster and then kind of faded out with it. But with, once again, Cell Surge being banned, hand destruction not being as much of a thing, there's a lot of value you get from this. The only thing that I'm feeling is missing is that there's the 4-drop Vegeta counter attack blocker that pretty much is like a Topu negate, but instead of discarding cards, you have to discard energy. So I'm surprised I don't see that in the main or side. But that's like the only card I would say is missing, or but not like needs to be in there. But I'm surprised it's not in there. But I don't know, this Goku is also good too. Like it's there's a reason it kind of went from like $5 to like $20. But anyways, there we go. Congrats to Kevin with his finish with this one. Next up, we've got Michael Cano's King Piccolo. Michael Cano obviously doing well with it in Texas, and again at this event too. I don't think there's much to say that has changed with his deck since then. It's looking pretty similar, and in general, King Piccolo is pretty similar in its build. I think the only like new tools, it got a flashy new secret rare to play, and you still probably playing Frieza's Death Ball, even though the Realm of the Gods got some of the extra cards. And I don't know, it's just a good deck. Obviously, it's probably one of the better aggressive decks in red, but the fact that red has 2, either King Piccolo or the Universe 7 Goku, I'd say that Universe 7 Goku is probably more consistent, or at least maybe a little bit more easy to pilot. But King Piccolo definitely, I don't know, they're very comparable in a lot in my mind. The fact that they can get some giant hand sizes, get a lot of interaction, and just be very powerful at your end game kind of thing is very good. Nothing, I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about King Piccolo. I've been talking about this deck for a year. It's it's what it is. It's fantastic. All right. Next up, we do have Tommy V's SS4 Vegeta. So this is again kind of the thing with blue. Again, like this is if maybe let me see. So we've got this is just kind of like a standard like mid-range version. This is probably the like standard ramp up to 6 kind of engine, and then we've got like the kind of true ramp version of blue. So I think it's nice that there's a lot of different leaders that mostly the same blue packages can fit into, and it's just kind of your choice of what leader you want, and then you can put the blue stuff into it. So I think that's kind of cool that it's flexible in that way. The benefits for this leader is that you can get more than one ramp very easily, especially since we do now have essentially 2 Ultra Instinct Goku's Kamehameha with the Realm of the Gods stuff. Going to Aandroidd 17 can still do fantastic at what you're doing. This is the Vegeta I'm surprised that the SS3 Reboot didn't play at least one copy of, but I don't think it's needed, but I'm just surprised it wasn't. I would think you'd want like 1 or 2, especially within a sideboard format. What else? I don't know. There's a lot of blues always had a lot of like good 5 and 6 drops, and so if you can ever get there, you're feeling fantastic. Too intoxicated by justice to what? What would you do with this? Negate the attack, choose one of your ignoring barrier if you do choose. I mean, being able to pop something 1-drop barrier is fine. It gets rid of like any of the energy on tappers, I guess. This Unison 2 is very good when in specific situations, so I'd wonder how consistent you went there. The Majin Boost, by and large, is the better 4-drop. Yeah, I don't know. SS4 is fun, and I'm happy it's still the same play. Next up, we do have let's see, this is Novin's Gogeta Xeno. Gogeta Xeno is I don't know, like if we look at this pie chart, we've got like the 2 new decks, right? We've got the kind of the old guard, which is King Piccolo, Gogeta Xeno, and Shenron, and then the nice 1-0s, which is I don't know, this is like a really good like picturesque version of what the meta looks like too, which is really cool. Gogeta Xeno obviously getting like some minor nerfs in the last ban list, but nothing too absurd. You kind of just lose the trunks that you get, like the free plus 5k kind of thing, and the unison interactions you get. But I don't know. The one thing that I saw that Novin played was the Supreme Kai of Time as well. Obviously, you can't get like the mill effect from it with the leader since it does warp, but just the fact that this is an on color like charge, but also can just be a 10k combo. It's with ending the game, just having these extra 10ks is good. You kind of have like medium size to small size hands for this deck anyways, so that's kind of helpful. And there might be some more recursion with it, but I don't think, I mean, you can power burst it back to hand, so power bursting back this to get a super combo essentially is I think good value if you need it. And yeah, I think that's good. It's also running 4 the Heavenly Wizard Demigra in the side. I would be curious to know what was the exact card you were targeting with this, because your opponent has to have 3 or less energy. You choose one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, with 30k or more power, and KO it. And I'm just trying to think what gets there on that. Like, even when this card came out, it was very limited on the cards you could hit with it, because it has to have barrier. I guess it doesn't have to have barrier. It's also during your turn. I don't know, unless Dark Broly comes back, which we'll see. But that is Novin's. And the last deck we're going to talk about today, this is Juha, Bach, Shenron. This looks a lot like the list that they played in the Texas event as well, the Dragon Ball Fest. Using kind of like the more mid-range option, having like 3 Mechis, and then also the Goku Black. So, indicating to me that you are totally fine with waiting until turn 4 or 3 to get the Awaken, and you want as much life as possible. 2 of the Frieza's Divine Transformation, 2 to get some board wipes and pops and stuff, but still having the sell Xeno in case you need to have that win condition. And in the side too, we do see the Rage Shenron and the negative energy 5-star ball. So again, if you find yourself that, going the long game does not work for this, for my matchup, I can, go into Rage, make sure that I can, and the Omega Shenron too. All these cards in general just make it so that, you can be way more aggressive if you need to, and just the flexibility on how easy, since Shenron can find its pieces, and like searching your deck for your guys. It's good. It's a good deck. So But like, again, it's a deck that I've been talking about for almost 2 years now, since Shenron's been like a force for a very, very long time. Which is, I think it's good. I think it's the fact that he's so flexible and what like builds and stuff is cool. And I don't think he's gonna go anywhere anytime soon. But that is it. That's my long rant. Thank you guys so much for watching and making it this far. I'm very, very tired, which shouldn't impact how good the video is, but it's just a truth. Again, if you guys want to see the match re-uploads, they should be in this doc and in the description of this video, and it should be on stage 0. There's also some of the like low quality Convention Center HD versions of it on my Twitch channel too, which is in the description if you guys want to watch it on Twitch for whatever reason. But that's really it for me. So thank you guys so much for watching. Shout outs again to Core for giving us this opportunity, and for Bryan for being my co-commentator, co-caster, co-production. I really appreciate it. I couldn't do any of this without him either. So again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.
Damn it.